Hello there guys, it's me Unstable Voltage. Welcome back to episode 4 of the Planet Coaster Beta. We're working on this second sort of career scenario challenge thing. We do need to build some more rides. We did open a way through to here, so people could pretty much get over there, which we don't necessarily want them to do. And I think what we'd like to try and do, if we can, is build one of our rides sort of off the edge of one of these platforms. I think that would be a pretty cool thing to do. There is one that's already been done like that. One of the sort of pre-built rides that's already in the park. But yeah, I think maybe sort of getting one done over here might not be a bad idea if we can work out how to get past to it. So let's have a look and see what rides that we've got available to us. So we've got this thing again. We've got this Wild Blue. We've also got this, like, we've already got one of those. So yeah, we've got a Psycho. What have we got actually? It's the Psychola attractions and shops. We've got a Psychola, we've got the Cube, and we've got Insanity 1. Do we not actually have the Cube down on this list? We do not. So we could build a whirly rig, but I think we're going to build one of these. This Wild Blue, and obviously we need to find a good spot to put it in if we want to put it sort of off the edge. Now what we can do, I think if you, is it Shift? Yeah, if you hold down Shift, you can adjust the height. So that allows you to sort of have it sort of floating out in the middle of nowhere, as it were. It's just trying to get it in the right spot that's the tricky bit. So we can sort of have it down here if we wanted to. I'm going to go ahead and put it a little bit higher up, I think. There we go. So now we need to sort of work out how we get this connected up to everything else. That's going to be the interesting bit, isn't it? So we need to place the entrance. So we'll have the queue on this side, I think, and we'll have the exit over on this side. And now we need to see if we can connect this all up. So we need a queue, and we're going to go with this black one marked with arrows, because that seems a little bit sort of futuristic-y. And we're going to sort of bring this queue sort of out and around. Now you can adjust the length, the height manually. But it kind of works it out for you. It didn't do too bad of a job of doing that. Now it isn't actually connected up to the path, which is the problem. Because here's the path over here. But I think that's as far as we'll go with that. I just want to cancel that for now. And I want to grab the path and go for the natural path again like this. And we'll... we don't want that to happen. That just makes the queue stupid. But we want to sort of continue the path around up here if we can. Now that's trying to change the angle slightly, which we don't necessarily need. So let's cancel that. Can put you in there. That's fine. So what we want to do now is go back to the queue. And we can get you connected up nicely. There we go. And then we need to sort of make an exit path. So we want normal path. We'll go for... Let's go for this glossy, weird vinyl thing. That's a little bit wide there. Let's go down to like, is it a 4-meter one? So you're going to be the sort of the exit to this ride. There we go. So that sort of works out. Looks a little bit derpy, but that's fine. So the ride, you might as well have the ride testing. While it is testing, let's go ahead and crank the price up to $12. I think we'll leave it on the... let's make sure I've got that unselected so I don't accidentally put it down somewhere. I think we will leave it on the default colours. I actually quite like the way that that's looking. It's playing Ride of the Valkyries again, which as much as is cool, I do worried about getting copyright flagged for it. So I'm going to go ahead and customise it and change that from Flight of the Valkyries to something like... I don't know, if we got something a little bit like... I don't know, Planet Euphoria. Just want something a little bit more spacey. That's not great, but still, it'll do. No, it's terrible. I've got to change that. That's just awful. Awful, 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 awful. What do we want? The cube. Oh god, it's all so terrible. Planet Dubstep. Journey to Planet Coaster. Ride of the Valkyries. What, really? Victory March. I hope they add more. I really hope they add more music to this. Because what they've got is pretty terrible. We'll use the Screaminator one. That'll do. We're not making much of a profit. But that's probably because we're spending a lot of money building new rides and stuff. But we do need some scenery for this. Insanity has been fixed, so the engineers are doing what they should be. Now, no one says that we can't actually charge people to get into the park. To actually complete the scenario, we need to make money from the rides, I believe, not from the actual park itself. But no one says that we're not allowed to charge people entry to the park. So we could make it sort of cheap to get in. Every little bit of money helps. Is there really no quick way to... Oh, we can just sort of do this manually, can we? Sure then, let's do it that way. Yeah, okay, cool. So we need to do some scenery for this. Now, one thing we want to do is kind of try and hide a lot of the legs. Similar to how it is done on one of the other rides, which is... is it this one here? Yeah, they've sort of got all of the legs to this one hidden with this sort of wooden framework. I'm hoping that there's something like that already pre-built, so that we don't have to mess around and do it all manually. We could just clone it, of course. So let's go in and look at the scenery. There are buildings as well, of course. Some of these are already pre-built. And there's like coaster stations and all sorts of stuff. But yeah, you can pre-build all of this custom stuff using building parts. But that, I don't think, is what we want. We want scenery. We don't want path extras. Basically, we sort of kind of want props. But I'm looking for all of these things, like these like wooden gantries. That's very, very small. Obviously not what I am looking for here. But look at all these things as well, like spaceship hulls. I mean, there's literally bits of spaceship that we could build around this. You know, build your own spaceship from scratch, pretty much. Oh, there are some, like, animatronic things you can have. Shooting aliens and stuff. So we could go ahead and put one of these guys up sort of near the path. Let's have them rotated towards the queue. And we probably want them standing behind something. No point standing them behind a bit of ventilation pipe that they can't even see over. What's the point of that, you know? Oh, you could really build some amazing stuff with all of this. That's a sci-fi bin right there, which you don't necessarily need. You have a repair droid in the queue. Or next to the queue. What am I going to hide you behind? This is like a sci-fi bench. Are these path extras? They are path extras, so we can put like a little sci-fi bench there next to the path. And a bin. See, instantly people have gone to sit down on it. Why won't it let me put that bin down? Probably because it's the wrong type of path or something like that. Anyway, I digress. Spaceship turret. So we could have him hiding behind this sort of turret. And sort of popping up to shoot from behind that. But I do want to try and find... yeah, I really do want to try and find more of these things. So as you can see, this is made up of driftwood planks. It's like, it's all separate bits. I want to be able to sort of like clone the entire thing. Blueprints. Ah, look, there we go. Look, there's the dog bot. Someone has actually built the entire thing. Or the ship, the UFO. And again, you can probably adjust the height of it, and I don't know how you'd sort of have it sort of randomly floating somewhere. But you can, apparently. It is supposed to be a UFO. Let me just put the height down so it doesn't look quite as daft. But we could put that here and have it sort of right over the queue if we wanted it that way. So if we were to put this there, how would it stay? It just floats in midair, does it? Or is that actually connected to something? Is it touching something pre-existing? It is touching something pre-existing. Maybe that's how it stays there. Maybe it's because it's connected to all of this wooden stuff. Let's agree that that's how it's floating in midair, shall we? Let's ignore the physics and let's say that it's all hollow fiberglass and therefore it's not very heavy. Yeah, there's this like dogbot thing which we could build over here as well, which would be absolutely cool. You can quite clearly tell that you've pretty much got all of the parts here to build an AT-AT walker. That is pretty funky. That being said, I still do want to find a way to hide a lot of this stuff. This ride's not open yet either, so we'll go ahead and open that now. So back to scenery. It is a shame that we don't already have statues. Yeah, we need custom, we need props. Signs, archways, miscs, yeah, because a lot of that stuff is just literally built with these planks. And that's going to take a long time to rebuild. Now, I believe, and I'm not 100% sure because I'm clipping through the flipping scenery now. Okay, let's go. Oh, I'm actually inside the monolith. There we go. That's not what I wanted to do. Bit of a camera derp there. What I wanted to do is try and find that other one and try and find a way to clone it. There is a way to select a whole load of stuff and make it into a blueprint, like this thing here. Right, there is a way to select all of this as one, but I can't remember what it is. Because, yeah, every single bit of this is an individual item. Look at it. Every single individual piece. And I'd worked this out in the alpha, actually, how to do this. You can click on the blueprint to start building the blueprint in your park. Is it shift? Is it control? There used to be a way to add multiple bits together. And I now have no idea what that is at all. That's a little bit unfortunate. I was hoping we could just sort of like copy something like that or place it. I didn't realise we were going to have to rebuild it manually, which is fine. I mean, it's great that there is that level of customization, but it's just going to take ages to do that. I mean, we could potentially do like a building. I'm not too sure what sort of sci-fi parts are in here. When I was playing this in the alpha, it didn't have a lot of the sci-fi stuff. In fact, I don't think any of the sci-fi stuff was in. It was literally just like the medieval castle stuff. But you've got all this like fiberglass elevator doors and things like that. I think a lot of this stuff you're probably better off sort of pausing, building it somewhere flat, and then sort of saving it as a blueprint and importing it all in. And I think you definitely want to use the blueprint system, because once you've built something like that, you're not going to want to have to build it manually again. You might need to modify it slightly for something, but you won't want to keep sort of rebuilding it. So let's have a quick look over here. Yeah, the scenery, like everyone's going, the queue's crap, which it is, because I couldn't put half of the stuff around it that I wanted to. So let's go back to custom scenery. And again, we can get the usual sort of cargo containers and things around, because people do tend to like that. We could get some special effects going, actually. If we go ahead and look for the special effects. And things like this electrical grid, the medium one. Which size is that one? So you can actually have these things where you sort of pass through it on queues and stuff like that. There is a large one. I'm not too sure if you can actually put this on the queue as part of the queue. Not too sure what the health and safety executives might say about it, having to walk through an electrical grid. Can we adjust the height slightly? Yeah, nowhere's really flat or level enough to put it. You can invert them, of course, and put them somewhere else. But what else have we got? Electrical rod. So we can go ahead and sort of put this thing here, like the droid's working on that. Electrical sparks. So we could have all these sort of sparks looking like they're coming out from behind the droid. Bubbles, I don't think really fits the theme of this. Metallic confetti. Flamethrower. Flamethrower burst. Flamethrower narrow. Flamethrower burst could be quite cool. Sort of coming out from, you know, just hiding it behind things. This is what I love about this, being able to put these things in. You know, just have like a random flamethrower in there that's just sort of randomly bursting flames out in the queue. Now that's got to make the queue funky, right? You've also got these fire pads as well. You can just make like fire come out of everywhere. Falling dry ice. So you could put this like above a queue or something. It doesn't really work when it's down on the ground. It needs to be up because the dry ice falls. I guess that's like the one that we saw on that other roller coaster where the coaster went through the skull. Western explosions. So you could have like explosions going on back here behind this guy. Again, we don't have a very good field of view there. But it's like he's being shot at now. So if we put that there, I mean, it's just he keeps standing up and shooting, and then explosions are going off. We could make the we could probably make the explosion go off less frequently. So we can put the can we change the target trigger duration? Apparently only... Well, you've got a lot of fine control over it, but let's put like 5 seconds or something. So now that's only going to go off every sort of 5 seconds. But it'll look like somebody's firing at him. At least it should do. Doesn't appear to be going off at all now, does it? Well, obviously I messed that one up. Can we select it again? Okay, let's turn the trigger duration off. How often does it go? Yeah, that'll be fine. We'll just leave it like that. So you've got this sort of flamer going. What else have we got here? Smoke bursts. Probably not a good idea to have it right behind the bench. So laser guns, and there's a red one. Splash strips. That's the smoke again. What else have we got? Water jets, steam, sparks. So much cool stuff. You've also got these like... Oh, that's the water rings. The water splash rings. Let's go for... I quite like the idea of having sort of like this... is there a larger one here? Just spots 1, 2, 3. Not different sizes. I like the thought of having this sort of behind the bench. So people are sitting on the bench and they've got all these sort of spots flying around over the head. We're up to 66% on the scenery, which I think is quite cool, even though there's a lot of stuff here that is still clearly visible. And we've got the bronze already. So that's cool. Monthly profit is still in the negative, but again, we have been buying a lot of stuff. The cube is broken down, but it has been fixed. Cube has been fixed. Many guests are complaining about vomit. Yeah, that could be a problem. So we need to go and hire ourselves a janitor. Probably just need the one. We don't have any toilets or anything like that either. Another thing we should probably do is go ahead and find our existing staff, particularly the engineers, and give them some training, because we can probably afford to do that. So let's go ahead and find you. Does this thing have to be so big? Oh, we can just do it from here, I suppose. So it costs us a little bit to train them up. But keeping them trained keeps them happy, and it will make them more efficient. That's the plan, anyway. I wonder, actually, while we've got this over here, because it's kind of floating, can we use that sci-fi archway tunnel thing that I wanted to use before? This thing. Futuristic archway. Surely we can fit that over the top somehow. Let's try and get the angle of attack right here. Doesn't help that every time you sort of move it slightly, it clips, changes its angle. No, stop rotating. So we can move it down. Or we could even build it sort of over the exit here. Actually, that might be more fun. Let's go ahead and build it over the exit. So this will be people sort of coming out of the ride. This is why I do YouTube videos and I don't design theme parks, by the way. Because I don't have the creative flair needed for this sort of thing. It is not what I do. And that seems pretty reasonable. So there we've got this sort of like futuristic archway. Is that broken down already? There's an engineer heading over towards it. Is it crapped out? I'm not wanting to queue that long to go on it. Well, tough. So, what do we do to... what have we got over here? Insanity 1 is broken down again, but it'll get fixed. Objectives. So, we've built 4 rides, even though we've only built 2. So, obviously, the 2 rides that were already here count. So, now we need to build a coaster. We also need to reach a monthly profit of $4,000. Well, we're almost there, because we've almost got $3,000. And we do need to pay off the loan as well. We don't have much money in the park. In fact, we are losing quite a bit of money. We're going to end up bankrupt soon if we're not careful. So I think what we need to do is go around to our rides and hike the prices up. Now, can we do that from the park management screen? See, Insanity's like made the most profits. That's one of the rides that I built. The Wild Blue and the Insanity. Those are the ones that have made the most profit. There's a lot of people going on the Insanity. So let's go ahead and bump that up to like $12. People seem more than willing to pay to go on it. These things don't seem to be making an awful lot of money for some reason. So let's put you up to like $13.50. And the Psychola as well. Not queuing that long, the queue is full. Yeah, not really an awful lot I can do about that. Let's put that up to 10. Because it's like the cheapest thing in the park. So we're going to need quite a bit of money to build a roller coaster and pay off the loan. Let's have a quick look at the loan. Finances. Loans. We have 1 loan. Paying $1,000 a month to pay off the loan. 20,000. That is a lot. So we're in negative balance. A lot of that is going to be down to the research, though. These 2 things are about to finish their research. So once that is done, we'll actually save a bit of money on those. In the meantime, we can actually pause that one. So you don't have to lose your research. Of course, I think if you cancel it to research something else, you will lose any progress you have on it. But if you pause it, you'll be fine. These ones will be done in 4 days. So that's okay. So we should be making some profit now. Insanity's been fixed, which is very good. So we want to get all of those sorted out where possible. But the park's doing reasonably well, considering, you know, I'm the one in charge of dealing with it. And you can see they've used some of those laser things that I was showing you. Those have been used on top of the monoliths here to... whoops. Yeah, they've put them here, look. To generate light and stuff. But there's just so much customization. You can really make these parts look amazing if you can control the camera. That's where the skill comes in this game. It's being able to actually control the camera. I'm just not really practiced with it, that's all. There's even like sort of lights hidden under these tunnels. There's a lot of stuff done to make the game look cool. Like these little rivers. You imagine comparing this back to Theme Park by Bullfrog, which I think was the first game of its kind. Back whenever that came out. I don't know. I was like... Must have been 20 years ago, something like that. And obviously everything was built on a grid. And you didn't really have space to make things look pretty. I don't even think Theme Park, the original one, actually had scenery or anything. I don't even think you could plant trees. But then you got sort of Roller Coaster Tycoon, which did have the ability to plant trees and certain things down, but certainly not to this extent. And the fact that it's not all on a grid just makes it look brilliant. Before we end the video, we'll just go ahead and have a look at our research. So, research projects ready to be revealed. So, let's have a look at this one first. This stirred with a spoon. Reveal research. What do we have? We have the teacups. Yeah, well, we expected it to be. A crazy classic. Is that like a pirate ship? This is the kick flip thrill ride. And, We can go back to working on this one, but I think we'll keep it paused for now. There are still some new items available. And yeah, we've got no money basically. Coasters, thrill rides, family rides. Doesn't tell us what any of them are, but we'll cancel that. We need to get some more money coming back in. The cube has been fixed. Fantastic. Very good. I think what we're going to do as well is potentially put the park entry prices up a little bit. So let's just say that it is going to be, if a priority pass is $40, then I don't think it's unreasonable to ask people for $5 to get in and like $12 for a family pass. And you consider, I mean, I don't know what it's like in America. I don't know why this game uses dollars, because it's made by British developers. But I know probably one of the biggest and most popular theme parks in the UK, Alton Towers, a regular ticket price during the peak season is about £40, which is about $50. You don't pay to get on the rides, of course, but you've got to pay $50 to get in. You pay about $8 to park your car, and it's in the middle of nowhere, so it's not like you can walk to it. So unless you go via a coach or whatever. So you've got to pay $50 to get in the park per person. You pay $8 to park your car. You're then going to spend money while you're in there because, of course, you're most likely going to be buying food, souvenirs, things like that in the park. It's quite easily to go there and spend a couple of $100s in one day. Very easily. So I don't think that's an unreasonable amount to ask people to get into the park. I wonder, actually, just under the settings quickly, I'm just going to have a look under interface. There's interface scaling, which is quite nice as well. You can even change the interface colour, which I do like. It actually changes all of the icons and everything to be a very specific colour. I like that you can do that. I do like the blue, though. But I might go for the purple just to be a little bit different. You can scale the interface as well. You'd have to turn off the auto scaling, but yeah, you can sort of size everything up if you want to. Show park boundary, hide player name, lock cursor to window, units. There we go. Units. You've got distance and you've got speed, but you haven't got currency, which I find really, really odd. Maybe that's something that will get added in when the full game is released. Yeah, see, everything's purple now, which is quite nice. So, things have been fixed. All good. Yeah, we're aware of all of these. We don't need to look at those notifications again. So, we still need to make some more money. We haven't built the coaster yet. We need to get a fair few more guests in. We're still losing money, so we do need to sort that out. But we will deal with that on the next video. So, I'm going to end things there. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. I hope you are still enjoying Planet Coaster. I'll see you on the next video, and until then, goodbye for now.